Okay, so this video, I am going to show you how to complete the Fonts Have Feelings 2 worksheet that I have posted in Google Classroom. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the 15 words that I shared with you. So simple, modern, classic, bold, western, thin, small, luxury, wacky, rounds, weird, straight, curved, wide, and handwritten. Okay, those 15 words, you're going to create a poster, a mini poster. So it's going to be 8.5 inches by 11 inches. So in Photopea, we're going to name this Fonts Have Feelings. Okay, and we're going to change the dimensions to 8.5 by 11 and change your DPI to 150 and hit create. Okay, so we're going to take a look at these words. You can do this one or two ways. You can either, if you're having trouble installing fonts and downloading them, you can use the fonts that are already installed in Photopea. Okay, so there's a lot. Don't think that you're limited, but there are a lot of fonts here. So you probably could do this project with what is available to you, or you can go look for fonts online at dafont.com or Font Squirrel or 1001 Fonts and find fonts that represent these words. Okay, so what you're going to do is you are going to type out your words and then you're going to lay them out on your poster in a pleasing aesthetic manner. Okay, so we learned about the principles and elements of design. So how can you incorporate these words and use the principles and elements of design in this poster? So the first word is simple. So I'm going to choose a simple font. So when I think of simple, I think of maybe this one. So I will type the word simple, and you are going to um, use your best judgment on the size of the word and how you lay it out. So I will type the word simple. Oops, not there. Type it here. Simple. Okay, you can use all capitals. You can use all lowercase. Um, I think I'm actually going to use a lowercase for this one. And if I want to make it larger, I can. So I want it to be just like that. So simple. Okay, so where could I put this? For right now, I'm just going to leave it right here. You should, one thing I want you to do is sketch out your ideas on paper before you begin this process. So write the words on a paper and rearrange them to a layout that you would like to try to attempt in Photopea before you begin. This is going to help your thought process and it will help your ideas run smoother once you get into Photopea. So you're going to start typing out these words and you're going to follow your uh, sketches, but then things will change, right? Things are going to change as you go along, and that's okay. As long as you have some sort of idea on how you want your words to look, that's fine. So now I'm looking for a modern typeface. So remember we talked about the modern typefaces. They're nice and straight. They have thick and thin curves. So let's see what we can find. Okay, so an option that you do have in Photopea as well, if you look up here, you can select or deselect different types of fonts, okay? So if you just go through this list and uncheck, you'll notice that your fonts are going to start to disappear. So we're telling it, okay, I don't want these fonts to appear. I want these scripted fonts, or let's see, let's go with serif fonts because we know that modern fonts tend to be serif. Okay, so this one right here looks like a pretty modern font actually. So I'm going to click here and I'm just going to type the word modern. Actually, that's a really great choice for this word. Okay, so I'm going to lay out my word right here. I'm going to make it nice and big. Okay, you can change the colors as well if you'd like on your fonts. So to change the color, once your type tool is selected, you're going to come up here, remember, and change the color. So a modern color could be, I don't know, I think of like gray or red when I think of modern. That's a very subtle change. Okay, so, all right, so there's my modern. The next word is classic. So what do you think of when you think of the word classic? So let's see. So maybe what do the calligraphic words look like? So we're looking for classic, right? So something that can be used over and over again and still look good. So classic, something um, that'll look good 20 years from now. We obviously don't want novelty. What does retro come up with? Okay, so those are like 80s. We don't want that. What does sans serif look like? Yeah, so it's going to take some time. So just be aware that this is going to take some time to get your words on your page. I'm going to pause it here and get some more words on my page, and then I'll come back and show you what I've got. Okay, so I have completed my Fonts Have Feelings worksheet or poster, and this is essentially what I am looking for. So how you place your fonts and the type of fonts that you're using. Do your colors represent the word as well as your font choices? Okay, so I want you to think about colors as well as your fonts when you're creating this. Some of these are pretty easy to come up with colors for. Like wacky, I did like different colors, and then weird, I did orange, just because orange is a really bright, fun color, and it's not a color that you typically use on everyday items, I guess. It's not a weird color. I actually love the color orange, but I don't know, I felt like it went well with it. Handwriting, I would actually choose like a gray or maybe blue, because I'm thinking like when you handwrite something, you usually write it in pen or pencil. Western, I chose brown because the Western feel, the dirt, and thinking back to the wood type typography when this type of font was created, they were created out of wooden blocks, and they used wood to actually create these letters on these wanted posters and things like that. And that's where that came from. The modern, I used gray because I feel like it's a nice, got a classic feel to it, the color gray. Um, the word simple, I didn't want anything to like jump out at you, so I kept that black. Bold, I did green because I wanted it to stand out. You could usually, words that are bold or black or really thick, and I chose a really thick looking font for that one. Wide, I chose a big fat wide font. Classic, I kept it simple with a blue writing. Luxury, so this color is supposed to be a goldish color. It almost looks green when I put it against the blue. The blue pulled out a lot of the gold or yellow and brought in a lot of green. So that is supposed to be gold. Straight, could be any color. I just chose blue, but I think I'm actually going to change that because it's right up against that blue of the wide. Round, obviously. So with the round, I drew out a circle and I wrote on the path of the circle like we learned how to do this week. And I used a nice round font. For the curved, I used the warp tool. So I wrote it out and then I warped it into an arc, okay, like we learned again. With the Wacky, I just adjusted my baseline shift. So I shifted some of the letters up and some of them down. And I think that's it. So have fun with this and find some really cool, interesting fonts out there. Oh, and then the word thin. Of course, I did it right here. And then there's another word in here. Oh, it looks like my word small disappeared. I'm not sure where it went, but I had it right in here. It was really small. So I'll have to put that back in there. But have fun with this, and I can't wait to see what kind of fun designs you guys come up with. Oh, and one more thing, when you submit it, you are going to save it as a PSD file because you may need to come back and change some things. And then when you're finally ready to turn it in, you will save it or export it as a, let's export it as a PDF this time. So when we export our posters, depending on where I'm going to put them, actually, let's save it as a JPEG because I think I am actually going to put some of these on our Instagram page. I'm going to start getting some stuff loaded on there and showing off your work. So you'll save it as a PSD and a JPEG file and turn them into Google Classroom.